Brian Terrian here with an update on disability cases in the COVID crisis. You're looking at a blog that is done by Charles T. Hall, and this will help you understand how the timelines are affected by the COVID crisis. Like what cases are getting approved, when they're getting approved, etc. So you can hopefully use this to kind of set your expectations, or shall I say adjust your expectations, because it is not the norm in the environment. So the headline of this says OHO receipts are down 17%. So what OHO is Office of Hearings and Operations. So the number of cases that are going to the hearing office is down 17%, and that's what this graph shows. So what does that tell us? There's a few theories on it. One is that there is a bottleneck of cases at the earlier levels, at the initial level, that are not being decided, and at the reconsideration level that are not being decided. We're going to come back to that in a minute. So because they're not going through the flow, they're not hitting the hearing level, and so they're down. And these this theory is also supported by, believe it or not, there could be some efficiencies by having the workforce for the judges and the support staff for the hearings be remoted. They're saving on travel time and more effective. So there's those two parts: less volume, more efficiency. How long will it last that the hearings will be like this? Meaning that they're going to be held by phone rather than in person. We really don't know right now, but as a general workflow, what's people are saying and seeing in the United States is that the earliest that individuals will return to offices like this, government offices, would be end of the first quarter of 2021 or into the second quarter. So some areas of the U.S. Have informed, like Texas, have informed their disability representatives that it will be mid-2021. So moving on to kind of the next topic, what does this mean for disability approvals if you are having a hearing done over the phone versus in person? There's some advantages, there's some disadvantages that I see that are reported in this article. Some of the disadvantages are for cases that are, I'll call them self-reported cases, where somebody has a condition that is not glaringly evident in their medical records, like an autoimmune condition, or maybe the early stages of MS that somebody is not able to detect. Those cases are more difficult for a judge to decide in favor of, because the condition could be reported in the medical evidence but not the limitation. Now, if there is something that is more clear, like a clear medical condition, like a stroke that has reduced mobility, or somebody had like a back fusion of 4 discs that are fused together, that is glaringly apparent in the medical records, and those cases are pretty easy for the judge to determine. So you have to take this into consideration, like how well prepared is your legal team to have your case heard, because it's not like you can walk in to court, sit down, and somebody can get a physical feel for what it's like. So that is going to be, the environment in a while. So I'm working like reverse to first on this. The next area that is causing the biggest amount of bottlenecks is the initial application phase, and if you get denied there, there's the reconsideration phase. What's holding those cases back, especially at the initial, is a key part of that process is an independent medical exam, where somebody is sent to a Social Security doctor to be evaluated, and they're evaluated to confirm that their conditions are in line with their medical records and there hasn't been any funny business going on. So because those are not able to be conducted, or actually now at the time of this recording they're just starting back up again, it has created a bottleneck for this. The other key component is Social Security was just not prepared to have all of their staff remoted. And this has caused problems with workflow of paperwork that's been submitted on cases has actually been mailed back in with like a confirmed receipt, but they're requesting it again. So that's just one example, and there's others like that. So those are the two major factors that are doing it. So hopefully as we continue to progress, the workflow will get better. They'll get the independent medical exams going back, and it'll get some degree of improvement in this area. So what does this mean if you filed for disability? When will you get your initial application decision that you should typically get in 5 to 6 months? No one really knows. I mean, I don't have any figures, and there isn't any consistent data out there like what they're adjusting it to, and nor is there at the reconsideration level. If your case is up for hearing, the good news is because there's a low workload and it's getting reduced, your hearing's going to come up quicker, your decision will come out quicker, hopefully you'll be paid quicker. So that's the good news. So I'm in hopes that this update on the current state of affairs for what's going on with COVID and disability cases has been helpful.